Greetings adventurers, this is Kazu here, and we have a Baldur's Gate 3 video showing you how you can quickly become the Oathbreaker Paladin, which is a hidden subclass. So if you are concerned with any spoilers on unlocking the Oathbreaker subclass because it's not directly explained to you in game, then you can go ahead and skip to the later part of the video where we'll just cover the Oathbreaker's features and abilities. Now, for those of you who don't know, Baldur's Gate 3 just recently got its patch 9 today, and that's going to be adding a few major things, primarily level 5 as well as the Paladin class and the subclasses for the Paladin class. So basically, if you're a D&D fan and you're looking for a video game to play, or if you are a Baldur's Gate 3 early access owner already, this might be a great time to jump in because level 5 is going to give us access to the extra attack on martial classes as well as 3rd level spells for the spellcasters. This is going to unlock a ton of new options and make tier 2 play actually viable and an incredibly amazing thing to see in Baldur's Gate. Up until now, we've only been able to get level 4. So download the update and let's get into Oathbreaker, which is a subclass for the Paladin class that you can actually unlock by breaking your oath as an Oath of Devotion or an Oath of Ancients Paladin. To start our journey as an Oathbreaker Paladin, you're going to want to choose the Paladin class from the character creation menu, and then if we go down and look at the class features, you actually start with Wisdom and Charisma saving throw proficiencies. You have all armor proficiencies, shield proficiency, and then all weapon proficiencies. So the Paladin is going to be a heavily armored frontline warrior sort of class. You have your Channel Oath, which you can use later on, but you start off with Lay on Hands, which is going to allow you to heal as an action, as well as Divine Sense, which gives you advantage on attack rolls against fiends and celestials, which is actually really useful. Now, if you're Oath of the Ancients, you have a Healing Radiance class ability that you can use. It's going to give AoE healing, which is quite nice. But what we're going to want to start with is actually the Oath of Devotion. This is going to be much easier to break the oath for and therefore become an Oathbreaker much faster. Now, this Oath of Devotion is more focused on like the traditional Paladin, the God-fearing warrior, and our custom ability is going to be Holy Rebuke, which is going to give you 1d4 extra radiant damage on an ally that's being hit by enemies in melee. Pretty nice, not a big deal, but once you get into the actual game itself, you're going to want to make sure to pick up the Everburn Greatsword from Commander Shulk. When you're doing the tutorial mission, you can have him fighting the Mind Flayer, and then once he's dead, make sure to loot that weapon, the Everburn Blade. It is going to be a greatsword that gives you plus 1d4 fire damage. It's going to be an excellent weapon for our Oathbreaker. And then once you have that, just keep progressing. When you get to the roadside cliff, just north of that is going to be the area where Lizelle is held up by a couple of tieflings. And for you to break your oath, all you have to do is go up to the tieflings, start talking to them, and then once you're given the option to persuade them with the Paladin and Deception choices, you're going to pick that. You're basically going to tell them to stand down. You have the situation covered. So once you pass the Charisma check, the tieflings are going to leave.
We need to check out that blast.
And now you're going to betray them by manually attacking. So I'm just going to go in, kill that guy. The other tiefling is going to get upset, and we're going to have to kill her as well. And once you've done this, you will unlock the cutscene for the Oathbreaker.
An emptiness grows within you, Paladin. Something has been lost.
You have broken your oath, Paladin. At the close of day, I will be waiting for you. We have much to discuss.
So now that you've witnessed the Oathbreaker Knight, you can go back to camp, perform a long rest. You're going to see him inside of your camp already, at which point you can go up to the Oathbreaker Knight, talk to him, and then agree to break your oath, at which point you will change to the Oathbreaker subclass from the Oath of Devotion or the Oath of Ancients as well. We'll discuss how to break the oath if you choose Oath of Ancients instead of the Oath of Devotion. But for now, I'm going to show you guys the full cutscene. If you don't want to bother watching it, or if you want to save it for yourself when you break the oath, go ahead and skip over to the next part.
You call must walk. There are no signposts. There are no maps. It is a path I have walked since the moment I fell. Now, you will walk it too, Oathbreaker. You swore to defend the defenseless, to stand as an emblem for all that is good and just in this world. Tell me, why did you abandon your oath? A noble sacrifice. To know the reason for your fall is perhaps to know the shape of things to come. Take comfort in your undoing. I, like you, abandoned my cause. But much can still be achieved. Your oath is broken. The light within you fades. A new power is awakening. Do not resist. Surrender and be remade. Though born of a vile source, these powers can be used for good or ill. Your oath no longer binds you. The choice is yours alone.
So congratulations, you're now an Oathbreaker. This is going to override your previous subclass and change it so you have new features, including Spiteful Suffering, which is going to allow you to deal some damage over the course of 3 turns if they fail a charisma save. You have Control Undead, which is going to allow you to take over an undead creature. And then you lastly have Dreadful Aspect, which is an amazing AoE fear. It's by far the best use of your Channel Oath that you get once every rest. And then you also have Hellish Rebuke as well as Inflict Wounds, which are really nice spells to have for a paladin. And that's going to be pretty much it. If you start off as an Oath of the Ancients paladin, you can still become an Oathbreaker, but to break your oath, you're going to have to get much further into the game to the Owlbear Nest and then slaughter the owlbear as well as its cub. You're going to get the exact same cutscene, and then you'll become an Oathbreaker, overriding the Oath of the Ancients class. So going into a little bit more detail on the Channel Oath abilities for the Oathbreaker subclass, if you use the Spiteful Suffering ability, it will force a charisma saving throw, as you can see here on the enemy. It's not going to do any damage initially, but for the next 3 turns, when it is the enemy's turn at the start of their turn, they'll take 1d4 plus your charisma modifier worth of necrotic damage. It's not that great in my opinion. Dreadful Aspect, on the other hand, is much better. This is going to be a 9-meter AoE that forces a wisdom saving throw, in which enemies that fail will be frightened, and they'll have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls against you while within line of sight, and they cannot willingly move closer to you. So this is going to be an AoE lockdown crowd control effect for the paladin. It's an amazing ability to have, and it's what makes the Oathbreaker so great, especially in Baldur's Gate. 9 meters is a pretty big AoE. So lastly, we have the Control Undead. I don't have any footage for this one, but it's pretty straightforward. It's going to give you control over an undead creature. Essentially, it will become an ally until a long rest, and that's going to be a wisdom saving throw. However, the target's level must be lower than yours, so you can't use this on powerful undead creatures. I'm not really even sure if there's any super powerful undead creatures you could take control of, but if there were, you're going to have to be mindful of their level. So that's going to pretty much sum it up for the video. I highly recommend you guys give the Oathbreaker a shot. The Dreadful Aspect is an amazing ability. Inflict Wounds, yes, you could always just smite twice in one turn, or you could just smite instead of using Inflict Wounds for your first spell slot, and that is going to be more optimal for damage most of the time. But Hellish Rebuke, an extra form of damage from your reaction. You're really going to get a whole lot of burst with the Paladin class as a frontline warrior, and that's a whole lot of fun. Really recommend you guys check out patch 9. Check out the video for Panel of Hell, or Panel from Hell, Larian Studios, if you want to see more info about it. And then of course, actually go ahead and hop on to Baldur's Gate 3, update your early access version if you already own it, or you can consider buying it. You could also wait until August when it does fully release. But I think with level 5, there's exciting content for you guys to try out and explore. So go ahead and check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more Baldur's Gate content. I'll probably work on some more videos later on. I'm definitely enjoying Baldur's Gate right now at the moment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.